evil. God intended good. He intended this. He's been in the middle of it. He's woven it together. They didn't harm me and God fixed me. God walked with me through the harm because there was something greater than the harm that He was going to use the harm for. And that's the truth that we see through Passover. The slavery of Israel was to produce a nation that would produce the Messiah. It's not something bad that happened to them. It's what God had planned for them. And we may not understand that, and we may bristle against it and fight against it, but the reality is a good God does difficult things to do more in our lives than we can ask or imagine. And here's the truth. My friend Joanne and I were just talking about this week. Doesn't He have to do hard things for us to get more than we can ask or imagine? Because I would never choose hard things for myself. But He's saying, I want to do more. So I've got to take you places you wouldn't go on your own. I've got to do things you wouldn't let me do if you knew what I was going to do. So the Passover has been pointing all along that this is not going to be what you expect it to be. It's going to be better. It's going to be more. But it's also going to be costly. In 2 Corinthians 5:14 and 15, it tells us that for Christ's love compels us because we are convinced that one died for all and therefore all died. And He died for all that those who live should no longer live for themselves but for Him who died for them and was raised again. See, we are not here to crucify Jesus all over again. Sometimes on this weekend we gather and we let our emotions run ahead of our theology. And we want to feel bad for what He did rather than rejoicing of what He chose to do. We want to talk about how our sin put Him there rather than know His love put Him there. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. He did not come because our sin was great. He came because His love was greater.
Yes, amen.
If it was all about our sin, He would not have given Himself. He would have done something to us rather than for us.
Right.
And yet what we see here is that He came so that we would not only be forgiven, but that we would be different. That we would live new lives. But here's the truth. Newness is difficult to understand, and most of us resist it even when we say we want it. And so in the Passover, we were given something that then gets even enriched more through communion, and that is a reminder to recommit ourselves yet again. It is a reminder to be challenged that because of Christ, because of what He's done, that we are now being constantly changed from our image into His, from the flesh into the spirit, from death into life. The death of Jesus, when rightly remembered, reminds us that we are not just forgiven, we have to be dead. We're not just forgiven of our sins, we have to die to sin. Because you can't walk in resurrection life until you have experienced a death